Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm in the darkroom tonight, and I just thought I'd answer a question that I got from a YouTuber called Shoot With Film, and he asked me what DIY tools I use in the darkroom. So let's get straight into it, and I'll show you some of the stuff that I use regularly that hasn't cost me a lot of money and does me proud. So I'll start off over this side of the darkroom, which isn't that far distance from that side of the darkroom. It's my darkroom's a small shed. Well, actually, it's a double-sized shed. It's probably about 12 foot by about 10 foot, and it's all cladded inside with this membrane, and behind membrane is a load of bubble wrap, and on top of all that is this plywood as well. So it kind of, just keeps the damp out. It does get cold in the winter time. I have to heat it up with a radiator. And in the summertime, it gets really hot. It's like a sauna in here, so you can't win. But I suppose I haven't got room indoors for a darkroom like this, so a shed seems like the next best alternative, I suppose. But anyway, over this side of my darkroom, you've seen this plenty of times when I'm doing my prints. This stuff is like, here it is here, and you can get this in DIY shops and fabric shops. It's just like just this spongy, foamy stuff that you put inside cases, and you cut out your compartments for cameras and whatever, or whatever you want to put in a case, I suppose, makeup or whatever. And it's relatively cheap, and you can see I've got one here and I've got one here. So this is another surplus piece that I cut off and use when I need to. Just put that back. So it's it's handy for pinning on notes and stuff like that. On the top of it, I've got a ruler and a pen and little bits and bobs that I use up there, handy to get to. And over this side as well, I've got some test strip exposure times there that help me through what I'm doing. And yeah, so these are really handy. They're just stuck on with hot glue and some carpet tape, and they haven't come down yet. So not much else I could say about it, really. So from where I was a minute ago, now turn the camera around. This is my sink area, and you can see what's the sink. There's a shelf up there with some jugs and some other little bits and bobs that I use. But let's talk about this area first. What's this piece of white? This is actually a piece of foam board that I use. So basically what I use this for is once I've washed a print in my sink, I can just put it up there, it will stick onto it, and I can just lightly squeegee any surplus water off using my squeegee, and that's it. That's what that's for. Or if any test strips that come straight out the wash, I could just stick on. This is dry at the moment, but I just stick on there. So yeah, handy little bit of foam board for the darkroom. If I now turn the camera and spin it all the way, there's the door. You can see all the plastic membrane that I use there. There's my apron that I very rarely use because I keep forgetting to, and that's where I start hanging my prints to dry. I'm just going to move the camera now. So that's where I hang my prints to dry. Coming all the way back round to the Enlarger area on the desk. Underneath my workbench, you can see I've got a couple of shelves there that I've slid all sorts of things under. And over this side is a bin for all the test strips and crap that I don't want. So right next to my Enlarger is my dodging tools and a little burning card with a hole in it. And again, that foam has come into use because I've just cut a small piece off and stuck it on that board on the wall, and I can just pull one out, throw it back in, pull one out, throw it back in. So these are really handy, this foam stuff. Let's have a look at these little tiny dodge tools. So these are real simple to make. This is I'll just lay them out so you can see them. They're all different kind of shapes for things that I'm dodging. Little tiny one there. It's probably the most common one I use is this circular one. Quite like that. And then I've got a smaller circular one there. No, it's actually square, but that can get in tiny. You can see the shadow underneath. There's a longer rectangle shaped one there to get in the corners and stuff like that. There's a square one that I use, and that one I use sometimes for portraits. You can see the head and the kind of like the neck area if I need to just do a little bit of dodging on portraits, and that's kind of a triangular one there, just to get in any nooks and crannies if I need to. So they're my dodge tools, and this here is just a piece of card, bit of mat board cut off actually, and you can see there the hole for when I'm burning, when I want to burn areas of the print. I just got in a cheap hardware store. This is chicken fence wire, and I just simply use my wire cutters and cut off little tiny strips of it when I want to make new dodge tools. So pretty simple, and back they go, back inside the foamy thing. So let's get on to the easels. This is the most common easel I use. It's a 10x8, and on the other side I've got 5x7 and a couple of smaller sizes there. But I like to make my own easels as well for different sizes. Just put that back. And I use mat board for this. That's an 8x8 square template, or an easel if you like. That's a 16x12 for a 16x12 print. That's a 6x9 that I use. And that's a 12, I can't remember now, 12x11 I think, or something like that. No, 10 by, I can't remember. But there's another size that I use as well. So when I want to use one of these, just place it down, project the image onto the area that I want to print, and then just run across some black tape to make a window. I haven't got any tape in here at the moment, I don't know where it's gone. But run some tape across here, and that's my template. And whilst we're on the subject of mat boards, I also keep all the cut-offs that I use when I'm framing and stuff, you know, just for doing test strips and anything else that I want to use these for in the darkroom. They're quite handy, so I just put these on the shelves underneath and use them whenever I need to. I made this. This is a defocuser, if you like. It just I just use it on portraits to soften them out. It's just a pair of tights. It's not a pair of tights. It's I took a pair of my wife's tights and cut a big hole in them, and I used, you know, the cardboard tubes that your prints come in. That's the lid of the tube, and I just wedged it in between some sellotape and wedged the tights in there as well. So, and all I do is, if I want to just soften some of the portraits that I'm doing, I just place it under the lens of my hands, like so. And there's a little tiny spare stocking that I can use and rip up whenever I need to. So back to that black foam again. It's quite handy. This is like a box of, I don't know what it was, something was in here. But this is where I keep my negative carrier, and also my condensers, 35mm medium format, and the two lenses as well. Keep them snug in here, so I know where they always are. They're clean, and yeah, I take them in every night. I don't leave them in the darkroom. So that's pretty cool. And on to some other handy things that I've got in the darkroom. A little pair of cotton gloves. Someone actually asked me if what sort of gloves these were, and I'm like, you know, they're just soft gloves that I got online, lint free, acid free, I don't know. They're soft, they're not going to scratch my negatives, and you know, they wasn't expensive, so just buy a new pair. They're actually quite dirty, but they're soft, they're not going to scratch my negs. A pair of gloves there, a magic marker. This is quite handy. This is an anti-static little brush, so I can just wipe the surface of my negatives before I put it into the enlarger for enlarging. Anti-static brush. There's another little tiny brush there for anything else that I need to use it for. Always handy to have a pair of scissors. Razor blade for cutting paper. Pencil, and a ruler. Always handy to have around. And in this little box I've got Vaseline and these little tiny little glass plates. Now I use these under the enlarger if I want to rub Vaseline and just do different, you know, kind of different looking creative portraits or prints, if you like. And so I just put them underneath the enlarger on top of the safe red filter. I take the filter out and I just put it on top of that. Yeah, so, you know, little glass plates there and Vaseline for any sort of printing I want to, different printing I want to try out. my little focus finder. I found this in a antique shop, and you know, the idea, you put it on your print, the light comes down and the image comes back through this way, it magnifies it. It's it really is a good little tool. It's Bakelite as well, so this is really old. Someone recently asked me what make it was, and all it says is made in England, and you don't often see that much anymore, and it works. So have a look here, and also a little tiny cut off of paper that I use with my focus finder. Multi-grade filters there, you know what they are. These are actually starting to get a bit knackered. I need to get a new set. That's a test strip machine that I quite like. I've showed you that many times in the videos. Again, people ask me where I get this from. I got this from a school that was throwing out all their darkroom stuff, but I wouldn't have a clue what it's called. Or so look, this one's made in China. So, but there's no name on it. I don't know. Test strip machine. And I've got these jars. In this little jar here, I've got some more little tiny dodge tools, some cotton buds. I don't know why I've got cotton buds in there, but you never know. Another jar here, I've got a toothbrush. I used to decide to sleep in the darkroom overnight and get up and I can brush my teeth. I don't know why I've got a toothbrush in here, probably just to clean stuff, maybe my Enlarger and that, I've probably used it in the past. A glass cutter, I'll put that to one side because I'll talk about that in a minute. A couple of screwdriver there, a magic marker. That's actually to cut the dodge tool wires I was just telling you about. Another little screwdriver and a peg at the bottom, that can come out, doesn't need to be in there. So yeah, and all this stuff, you know, I do actually use it. It just stays in the darkroom, and I know where it all is. If I need, if I need a cotton bud for any reason, I know where they are. So onto the glass cutter. You saw the little tiny glass plates that I use under the Enlarger. This one here is what I do my contact prints with. It's just a piece of glass. And I used the glass cutter to cut this out a little while ago. That's for doing contact prints under the Enlarger. It's just a piece of glass with tape around it, and I can place the paper down with the negatives, glass on top, you know the score. I don't actually do much contact printing, to be honest with you, and I just keep it in that little box. It says contact glass, so I know what it is. And this is a soft green cloth that when I'm working and I've got my negatives out of the sleeves, I just put them on there and it just saves them getting scratched, blah blah blah. So now probably you've seen this, you're probably wondering what this is. This is measurements in inches, and I use this along with this when I want to cut paper down. So if I haven't got any 5x7 or 10x8, I'll just take a piece of 16x12 and I can place the paper here and measure it and just cut paper out as I need to. So if I want to make a 10x8 print but I've got no 10x8 paper, I'll just take something bigger and cut it down to size. As I say, that's what this is for as well. So working in the dark, I can see this under the red light, and my measurements as well under the red light. It's just handy, you know, rather than guessing. It saves paper as well. Another thing I could talk about is storing chemicals. There's my stock bath there, my fixer and my paper developer. These are just bleach bottles now, don't freak out, all the bleach has been washed out of them. 21 pence in a supermarket. This one was a bit more expensive, I think this one was £1, and this was 21p as well. What sort of containers can you buy for that much, you know, for that cheap? So they do me really well, and you know, when they start getting ganged up, I just throw them away and get new bleach, throw it down the toilet and use the bottles. So yeah, that's what I put my chemicals in, diluted chemicals anyway. Another handy find that I got from a cheap shop was this. This is a cycle. You know where I'm going to go with this, don't you? But this is a bicycle rain cover, and it cost me £1. And I used this when I finished my darkroom session. Put it over the Enlarger like so, and it just puts it to bed for the night. Keeps any dust off of it, and if it does get really cold in here, this just protects it a little bit. Now down here is a microwave, and it works. It's an old microwave. Now, maybe someone can tell me, I've never used it for my chemicals to warm them up to a temperature that I need. I wonder if anyone can tell me in the comments if they use a microwave in their darkroom, or should you use a microwave to warm your chemicals up. To be honest with you, usually I just put hot water in a jug, in a large jug, and put my chemicals in another jug that's small and put it in that hot water just to bring them up to temperature. But I have heard people using a microwave before, and I haven't used it yet, but maybe I will. And this is another thing that I made. I've got a video on how I made this actually. It's a light box and it works really well for me. Got a LED light that goes over the top, and that is an old Russian lens from a camera that was broken. And there goes my phone. So yeah, you know, put my negative on top, put my eye through there, and I can see just as good as a normal light box. So this side, this is where I make my larger prints. I haven't done any large prints for a while, but this is a 24 by 18 size mask, and I literally just turn the enlarger, project it onto this wall, and clamp it down and make my prints. This was all made out of an old desk. And these, you all know what these are. These are the developing trays. I've got various sizes of these, so I was lucky enough to find these along the way, quite cheap. I certainly wasn't going to go, you know, buying brand new ones, or some are just so overpriced online for what they are. If you search high and low, you know, people are throwing these out as well. They happily give them to you. I've seen some on certain websites where it's saying for free, you know, for collection. I was lucky enough to get quite a bit of my stuff from schools near where I live that don't use the darkrooms anymore. But before I was using these, I used to use these cat litter trays. Now, I laugh, but they work. They served a purpose for the time when I didn't have these. They served a purpose. And what I did, I just run some hot glue, because the paper when I was developing used to get stuck at the bottom. So all I've done was just run some strips of hot glue down the bottom of it there, and that would raise the paper slightly from the surface and it wouldn't get stuck. But yeah, I used to have 3 litter trays. They were £1 each. Makes you wonder why these are so expensive when this is only £1. But anyway, you know, so yeah, cat litter trays used to serve a purpose for developing trays. I've had to bring George in the darkroom because he's barking at me from inside the house where he's on his own, so I've brought him in and put him up here. Say hello to the people. You're not interested, are you? You want a doggy biscuit? So that's a quick overview of my darkroom and some of the tools that I use. You know, none of this stuff is expensive. I've been getting it off of online internet websites, and people as well that are not using film anymore, or not shooting anymore, and they happily give you stuff as long as you're going to use it. And schools as well. I managed to get quite a bit of stuff out of schools, and some of the stuff that I haven't got I've made myself, just to, you know, stuff that I wouldn't bother buying, because I can make like the templates, and you know, I don't really want to buy these big easels because they're expensive. If I could find one for really cheap, I probably would. That's why I end up cutting up mat boards and making my own templates. They work. That's the main thing, you know. And I quite enjoy making stuff as well. But so there you go. I hope you like the little tiny tour of my darkroom and some of the things that I use. Please like the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. I've got some good ones coming up. Thanks a lot, guys. Cheers.